All right, this is how I built my physique while running my business at the same time. And here's how you can do the same. We're going to get started with who this is for. This is for you if you feel too tired from running your business that you start skipping gym sessions. This is for you if you're carrying fat but lacking muscle and don't know where to start. This is for you if you've lost weight before but you can never seem to stay consistent long term. And this is for anyone who wants to build a lean athletic body without it taking over their entire life and without spending 7+ hours a week in the gym. We're going to go into who this is not for. This is not for guys looking for a quick fix or a magic pill. This is not for you if you're not willing to commit at least 3 to 4 hours a week to training. This is not for you if you blame your genetics, you blame your age, or you blame your metabolism for the lack of your results. I literally have clients who are in their 60s with abs. This is not for you if you keep saying you'll start Monday, but you never do. And this is how I got here. At 15 years old, I began to pursue fitness. I started working full time when I turned 16 on my 16th birthday. And my worriness of my job taking over my fitness life was my number one fear. I'd always feel like my fitness would begin to slip, and that would result into me bouncing around. I've literally worked over 20 jobs in just a few years trying to find a job that I can reliably build my physique with. But it wasn't until I realized the way to build your physique and striving your career at the same time. I started implementing this system and I became the best version of myself in both my career and my fitness at the same time. And it was really life changing because I was holding on to this fear for so long that I thought working full time was going to build me a shitty physique. But that is not the case whatsoever. And that's literally why I'm always preaching this system. So, getting right into things, this is the split that I use to build that transformation and that I use for some of my clients, most of my clients. So it's chest and triceps, back and biceps, shoulders and abs, and then legs. And just real quick, I know a lot of people do chest and bis and then back and tris. But really, if I'm doing, say I do back and tris, and then I do chest and tris the next day, my tris are going to be cooked for when I try to do chest. Same thing. If I do chest and bis and then I'm doing back and tris the next day, I'm not going to have as much pulling strength if my biceps are cooked. And then you got shoulders and abs. This is a full ab workout, by the way, not just 3, 4 sets at the end of your workout like most people do. You want to be training your abs like you're training your other muscles, and then legs. So this is how it looks. Basically, you'll be warming up for 5 to 10 minutes, pumping blood into each muscle that's about to be worked. So, for example, this is just like basically if you're hitting chest, you're going to be doing some very light flies, about a few sets of those, just to really get blood into those muscles so you can prepare to lift heavier with those. And doing some mobility work, some light stretches before your workouts. And the hypertrophy rep range is anywhere from 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 12 to 15, and the occasional 20 plus. And it's important for us to incorporate drop sets and supersets towards the end of each muscle group instead of gassing yourself out at the start of the workout. And we always want to be changing up the rep tempo that is performed throughout the workout. So, for example, like incorporating pause reps, isometric holds, and yeah, basically just incorporating all these different kind of tempos, like 1 second squeezes, 2 second squeezes, 4 second negatives, all that kind of stuff is going to be very beneficial towards you instead of just following one standard rep tempo. And this was my client, Teddy, by the way. We lost 20 pounds and built about 10 pounds of muscle. That's what the difference looks like here. And we're really just locked down in a muscle building phase right now. So going into day one, chest and triceps, it's important to be working each part of your muscle. So for chest, you got the upper, middle, and lower. And the triceps, you got the long head, lateral head, excuse me. and the medial head. And for the triceps here, you're going to get a lot of all the heads. You're going to get a lot of all the muscles in the triceps worked through each movement. So like one movement is going to be targeting basically all of them, just putting more emphasis on each part of the tricep. So for chest, how to structure this properly, excuse me, is you want to be doing 1 to 2 pushing movements for your chest. This is going to build that strength in your chest. And then about 1 accessory movement hitting all parts of the chest. So you want to be doing accessory afterwards for like a upper chest fly and then like a lower chest fly. And then you'll be doing 1 to 2 tricep movements after chest. And you always want to start with chest first and then finish with triceps. Because if you're gassing out your triceps and then you go to do a press, you're going to have no strength in that press. But if you do the press first, you can still have that energy saved in your triceps. So 75% of the workout is going to be upper chest, and 25% of the workout, you're going to be starting with lower chest. So yeah, 3 days, 3 out of the 4 days, upper chest is the main focus. And then 1 out of the 4 days, lower chest is more of the main focus. And then, yeah, 75% of the workout is chest, 25% of the workout is triceps, as you're using your triceps already in the chest training. Chest strength training at the start of each workout, starting with pyramid sets or high volume sets, such as 3x5s. Then afterwards, we focus solely on hypertrophy training. So it's important to be doing your strength training as your first movement of the workout. We'll obviously do our warm up first, get into strength training so you can build that strength. And then afterwards, you're doing hypertrophy. And then going into back and biceps here. So you always want to be starting with back and finishing with biceps, just like the chest and triceps. And 75% back and 25% biceps is the workout. You want to be hitting all 3 of these parts of the back, the lats, the middle back, and the lower back here. So we want to actually be doing 2 lat movements per workout, 2 middle back movements per workout, and always, this is very important, we needed to be doing 1 lower back movement per back workout. And I know a lot of people skip lower back, but it is just extremely important. It's going to cause you a bunch of back issues when you're older if you skip your lower back, especially if you're building your back up here and you're not building your back down there. Your lower back won't be able to support that muscle mass you're building up there. So we do really need to have to be training lower back in every session we're doing for back. And then 1 to 2 bicep movements after you've completed your back training. And the day 3, shoulders and abs. We want to be starting with shoulders and finishing with abs. 50% of the workout would be heavy dumbbell shoulder press, and 50% of the workout will be starting with a shoulder accessory. So I kind of reworded that wrong. 50% of the time, we're going to be starting with a dumbbell shoulder press. And 50% of the other time, we're going to be starting with a shoulder accessory. You want to be doing 1 pressing movement followed by 2 to 3 accessories. And you want to make sure you're hitting all parts of the shoulder. You got the front delt, the side delt, and the rear delt. And you also want to be throwing in traps as well. You want to start working your traps after your shoulders are completed, because if you start working your traps before you're doing shoulders, you're going to barely be able to isolate your shoulders and you're going to just get all traps. And then for abs, 4 to 5 sets hanging leg raises or crunch variation. We really need to be doing at least 4 to 5 sets per training session for abs. Hanging leg raises is honestly the best ab exercise ever. I would preach that. And then the 4th day is legs. Everybody loves legs. So we need to be doing 1 squat pattern and 1 hinge pattern. And here are all the different muscles in the legs. We got the hams, the quads, the glutes, and the calves. And here are some of the exercises, examples of how to work each of these muscles. On top of the squat pattern and the hinge pattern, we finish up with 1 to 2 accessories, hitting all parts of the legs here. So 50% of the time when you're doing legs, you want to be doing it quad dominant, and then 50% of the other time is hamstrings and glute dominant. You want to start with your strength training as well. As your first movement, this could be either pyramid sets or 3x5s on your main compound movement. It could either be squat or leg press or any kind of other squat variation like a hack squat, barbell squat, etc. After your strength work, you're going to focus solely on hypertrophy training. For accessories, this will be leg extensions, hamstring curls, RDLs, lunges, things like that. You get it. And then you always want to end off with calves. You don't want to burn out your calves first and then do all your other parts of the legs afterwards, because if you do calves first, you're going to take away the burn from the other parts of the legs. So if you have very sore calves and you try doing hamstring curls, you're just going to stop the set because your calves are way too sore. And we want to prioritize our hamstrings over our calves and build strong, meaty thighs. So we're getting into the 5 pillars of the build blueprint. And this is the same blueprint that I've used for all of these client transformations here. And the 5 pillars are simple: sustainable nutrition, progressive training, strategic recovery, consistent habits, and a built mindset. If you have all 5 of these, there's no way you can fail whatsoever. Like, you're not going to fail if you have all 5 of these. Starting off with sustainable nutrition, this is my client, Lisa, by the way. We lost 100 pounds working together, and she started when she was in her 60s, and now she has abs on the beach here. So anything is possible. So sustainable nutrition, you've tried extreme diets that you couldn't stick to, you cut out foods that you've loved, and then burned out within weeks and cheated on your diet. Basically, for sustainable nutrition, the most important thing we need to focus on is hitting your daily protein target and hitting your daily macro target. You want to be eating in a way that you can actually sustain. You want to be having foods in your diet that you like. If you're going onto a diet and it feels like a diet, you're doing it completely wrong. Now, going into progressive training here. So, like, I've had little phases of this happen to me where I'd be lifting the same weights for months and I'd have zero progression. And I wonder, like, hey, why is my body not changing? Why is my strength not going up? You're really not giving your body a reason to change if there's nothing changing about your training. So if you're not lifting heavier each week or not adding more reps in each week, what is giving your body a reason to change? And a very important part of fitness is to make sure you're tracking your lifts so that you could adequately add more weight and add more reps or even some more sets each week to increase the count, to let your body progress. We mentioned pyramid sets, not period sets. We mentioned pyramid sets earlier. And yeah, so basically how pyramid sets work is you get all warmed up and then you would start your set 1 where it'd be like from like 10 to 12 reps, set 2 from like 7 to 9 reps, set 3 4 to 6, and then when we get up here we would reverse pyramid down. So then so basically you're adding more weight for each set, and you get to your top set and you're kind of gassed, and then you start reducing the weight, and in each set you're still training till failure there. And yeah, strength really equals muscle growth, guys. Like, if you're not getting stronger, you're really not going to be growing. Strength is very correlated with muscle growth. Now we're going into strategic recovery here. I'm just going to grab some water. So for strategic recovery, we want to be prioritizing 7 hours of quality sleep each night. And I know a lot of you are busy and you guys get a lot less sleep, but it's really a game changer when you're getting adequate sleep for your building your physique. Staying hydrated and getting your water intake at least 2.5 liters a day is going to really benefit you for recovering. Incorporating daily movements and stretching, like 5 to 10 minutes minimum of stretching each day. It's just such an important habit to have. Taking rest days seriously because the growth happens when you're recovering. It's very easy when you start falling in love with the gym to be going 7 days a week, 6 days a week. But honestly, I felt my best performance in the gym when I've taken 1 to 2 rest days prior to that training session. And yeah, taking 1 to 2 rest days a week, or even 3 days rest day, 3 days a week, sometimes four, is really going to be really beneficial towards your progress. Managing stress. This is a big one. I used to do a lot of breathing exercises. I still kind of do a bit of breathing exercises too, just to like keep my cortisol low. And when your cortisol is low, you're going to have a lot less water retention on your physique, and you're just going to recover better. Now, consistent habits. Before we get into consistent habits, this was Johnny. This was just 1 month transformation here. And yeah, with him improving his sleep in this first picture, he was only getting 4 hours of sleep each night. And then we started weight training for 1 month. And yeah, I put him on 7 hours of sleep at least, got him to taking some melatonin for that. And just being able to, thinking out ways to like relax better before sleeping. And he gained a lot of muscle mass and lost a lot of water weight and fat on his body. So consistent habits. This is hitting your protein targets without any exceptions, because once you slip up once, you're gonna find it acceptable in your mind to constantly be slipping up on your protein intake. You want to stick to a structured workout plan and keep meals simple and repeatable so that you eliminate the guesswork and decision fatigue. You want to be tracking your workouts, weight, and physique. This is a really good habit to have, because without doing that, it's very easy to slip up and fall off. You want to focus on the small daily wins instead of perfection, because consistency beats intensity every time. Like I've had a time before where I followed an extremely strict bodybuilding diet, and yeah, like with I'm a I'm pretty experienced in bodybuilding, and I couldn't last like 10 weeks with eating the exact same things in the exact same order every day. This rice, chicken, all this plain stuff. And now on to the last one here, which is the built mindset. So you don't have to choose between your body and your career. You can build a top 1% physique and succeed in your business at the same time. The discipline in the gym also transfers to the discipline into life. And high performers don't separate fitness, they integrate it. Your body is a reflection of your standards. This was my client Prince here, and we got him on all these consistent habits and a proper routine, structured diet plan, and now he has shredded abs. So you failed so many sorry, you failed so many times before. Why would this time be different? So this time, after all this knowledge I've just shared upon you, you know that you have to be following a structured system to eliminate all the guesswork. You're not relying on motivation. You actually have a plan to follow. You understand exactly what to do and when to do it. You're focused on execution and information overload. Sorry, not information overload. Because you don't want to be overthinking everything. The more you think, the less action you take, guys. You've simplified everything. No more overcomplicating. This is what this system taught us. You're building habits that actually stick. You're being held accountable to a higher standard. You're thinking long term, not just quick results. If you guys have any deeper questions or just need a little bit more guidance, feel free to book a strategy call in the description. Basically, on this call, we'll go over your number one challenge and your number one goal that you're trying to achieve in fitness. And I can show you how to integrate it with your busy life so that you could achieve that top 1% physique and be a top G.